This video is brought to you by new Metatron Imperial Legionary t-shirt, available through Teespring. Link in the description below. Noble ones, looking particularly noble today, it is a pleasure to have you here, back with another historical video. Today's video is actually a response video to a Roman reenactment group based in Russia. The name of the group is Legio V Macedonica. Now these guys are actually putting out a lot of content about Roman reenactment, and now given the majority of the content is in Russian, and in fact, talking about that, Привет! That's pretty much the state of my Russian, so I have no idea what they're talking about. However, there is one video that I'm going to respond to today that was published in English, and as far as I understand, the Legio V is planning on putting out more content in English. So if you're interested in that, I strongly suggest you to check out the video description. You'll find a link to their YouTube channel. Subscribe to them and check out their content, because even if you don't understand Russian, it still looks pretty nice. Okay, so today I'm going to use some parts and clips from their original video for argumentation purposes and review, but of course I would still strongly recommend you to check out the actual video on their channel, the entire video, to have a better understanding of what we are talking about. So the Legio V guys, they are trying to reconstruct Roman combat, mostly focusing on legionary hand-to-hand combat, and that is really, really cool. In fact, I'd like to start by saying, Legio V guys, mad respect for you guys. I really appreciate what you're doing. However, on this video we'll be pointing out some things that I disagree with, but of course it's still very nice that they are putting in the effort, and also with my little group we are trying to do that because we don't know much about Roman fencing and the way Roman legionaries fought. I will be using quite a lot of iconography to sort of back up my points. So without further ado, let's get to the meat and bones of this video.
This stance is very useful when enemy is pressing you, attacking actively. Torso is half turned, the shield lays on the calf muscle and the shoulder. Also it is handed by handle inside. The knee is turned inside, head in some distance from shield. In this stance, shield lays on the outer side of leg.
I do not agree, and I totally disagree with this idea of turning the knee, turning the front foot in combat to fight like a Roman. And I disagree with this, and I think the foot should be pointed forward for two reasons. Reason number one is iconographic. I don't think the Romans did it because iconography shows otherwise. In fact, they actually mention the Trajan column.
For the base we took metops from Trophy of Trajan. Many years of experience of using these stances.
And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying that I'm absolutely right. Maybe they're right and I'm wrong, but I'm saying that in all iconography I've seen, and I'll be sharing with you as much iconography as I can find, both from gladiatorial combat, which is still scutum and gladius, but also from, as I said, triumphant columns where we can see legionaries in combat. And it's universal. The front foot faces forward, it faces the opponent. So I don't know what iconography they're mentioning. And particularly in the Trajan column, I do not see that at all. Secondly, I don't think it's a feasible fighting stance because of mechanical reasons and mechanical combat properties. They mention karate. In fact, I practice karate, and I'd like to show you why I don't think it would work with scutum and gladius. They also mention taekwondo. Yes, maybe it could work. It works with taekwondo, but it wouldn't work with scutum and gladius, in my humble opinion. And to show you that, I'm going to grab my scutum and my gladius now, so come with me.
Attack to leg by spear. When leg is turned, it is easy to put down the shield and cross vulnerable zone. If your torso on foot looks forward, your foot protrudes under the shield. In this case, you can't neither down the shield nor protect your knee. The foot is parallel to the shield. It is very difficult for enemy to aim it. If your foot is looking forward, it is much easier.
First problem, hiding and protecting the front foot. I don't think you need to turn your knee in order to do that, because it's true that they say if you keep the front foot pointing towards the enemy, pointing to the front, then it will stick out from the shield, so it will be difficult to protect. But that only happens if you keep your front leg straight. If you bend your knee, like we see in all iconography that it is bent, then the scutum will be projected in front and it will cover the foot completely. Of course, you don't need to overbend your knee, but slightly bending your knee will protect your foot in combat. Secondly, stance stability. In this Roman combat stance, they also keep the feet parallel, and that's not good in my opinion, because it's easy to lose balance, and you don't want to lose balance in the middle of a battle. It's different from a sport, it's different from the Olympics, where your opponent is just going to let you stand up again. If you're fighting against a barbarian and you fall on the ground because you don't have enough stability, you will lose your life. On the other hand, when you have your stance with the front foot pointing towards the enemy and the left foot, the rear foot, pointing away from the enemy, you have something closer to a Zenkokudachi stance in karate, which is very, very solid, and it's difficult to move people if they don't want to be moved and they are fighting with this stance. Of course, again, over-exaggerating a stance is always going to be problematic, so you don't have to bend your knee as much. Very, very solid, in my opinion. Also, if you want to advance with a strike, so sort of lounging, it's difficult to do a lounge, excuse my pronunciation, if you are on a lateral stance. Instead, if you want to do that and you are in a frontal stance, it's easier. You can just bend your knee or actually fully commit.
Then in case of hit, trauma is very possible. If leg will be turned forward, trauma of tibia is possible, because it is unprotected by muscles.
The idea of protecting the knee from injury if someone bashes against your shield. Also, they say that the knee will be protected, but actually a lot of ways to break knees in martial arts, it's actually to attack the knee from the side, rather than striking the kneecap directly. Not to mention that I don't see why you would actually have to have the shield touch the kneecap. I don't think you need to. If the shield is resting on your shoulder or your armored shoulder, that's already taking away a lot of weight. I don't think you need to also have the shield rest on your leg. You could in some situations, but I don't think it's a must. You can see in this clip from Legio V that the guy on the left is actually using the stance that they are teaching. The guy on the right is actually using a stance closer to the one I teach, or shouldn't really say teach, the one we use in my group, in my little contubernium. And to be honest, I think the guy on the right looks a lot more natural in the way he advances. Okay, well, I hope that you enjoyed this video, you found it entertaining. Again, much respect to Legio V. We are all brethren in Rome, if you will, and we are trying to reconstruct something that we really love. Maybe they're right, maybe I'm right, but I'd like to hear your opinion in the comments below, particularly of those of you who have experience in martial arts and combat, and also, of course, HEMA and whatnot. I'd like to take a moment to thank my Patreons, and I'd like to say that I am working on a Patreon documentary where I will be talking about the Battle of Cannae and reasoning and talking about why Rome lost. My Patreons will have an early access of a month, and then of course this video will be released for the entire public here on YouTube. Thank you for watching, noble ones, as always, and remember, the Metatron has spread his wings. Roma Invicta. I like these sunglasses. Why do you always have to complain? I know, but I said